Okay. Coming to the next part. Now, the power of compound interest. Compound interest, as very famously quoted by Einstein, is the next wonder of the world. So, when we say compound interest, what we say is this is a typical situation, a problem. It was from my real life once I was invited to a college and the students had no idea of what finance is. So just to keep them amused and to keep myself relevant also, I put up this question to them. A 20-year-old student, one amongst them, wants to start saving for retirement. She plans to save rupees 10 a day. Every day she puts rupees 10 in her drawer. At the end of the year, she invests accumulated savings, which becomes 3,650 rupees. In an online stock account, the stock account has an expected annual return of 15%. How much money she will have when she retires at the age of 65 years? Now, a simple thing, a simple question of what I'll say, future value. Okay, let's take future value. In this case, what will be rate? Let's see, rate is 15%. Number of periods in this case is 45 years. Since the investment is monthly, it's a yearly investment, we don't have to worry about rate. PMT in this case is minus 3,650. Present value is 0 and type is 0. This is type is 0 because she is collecting the money whole year and investing at the end of the year. So the amount is 1 crore 30 lakh 85,718. Wow, this is the wonder of compounding. 10 rupees per day for 45 years can give you 1 crore 30 lakh 85,718 rupees. Now the next reaction from those bunch of kids was, sir, this is theoretical, no? This is quite practical, but 45 years is a very long time. Another question, as financial planners, we know that what will be the purchasing power of this amount in terms of present value at the rate of inflation. Let's find that also. If I take inflation at 6% for 45 years, which is a fair estimate, I believe. So 1.06 to the power 45, this amount amounts to 9,50,678 rupees in terms of current value. So you can buy a good car sedan in this amount just by saving 10 rupees a day. Not bad. But the real question lies in, what if I don't get this 15%? What if I get only 8%? This also I asked them. So you will say we are reducing the rate by half. Let's reduce the rate by half. The amount reduces to 14,10,745 rupees. This is the power of compound interest. And if you are doing retirement planning, whole world is doing retirement planning is 8%, 8.5%, but 15% you have to come to equity. So this is the real pain of the customer. This is how compound interest works, and this is why it is important. So if you want a life of 1 crore 30 lakhs, come to equities. If you don't want a life of 1 crore lakhs, keep wherever you're invested, in mutual fund or in PPF, EPF, whatever. Then comes frequency of compounding. Frequency of compounding, as we have already seen, that whenever the frequency of compounding is another than annually, we divide the rate and we multiply the number of periods by the compounding frequency. Now this is only true where the frequency of compounding is clearly defined for the products. When we see investment products, there are two kinds of products available in the market. One, where the frequency of compounding is clearly defined, like an FD or an RD or a term deposit or a national savings certificates or a PPF, where the frequency of compounding is clearly defined. Then there are market-based products like equity market, equity shares, like units of equity mutual fund, where the period of compounding is not defined and the movement of the movement of the amount depends on the market. So we have different formulas for those two different things, and we'll come to it at a later stage. Now let us look at the question. Will the FWF lump sum be larger or smaller if compounded more often holding the escalated I% constant? Obviously, it will be larger, as the more frequently compounding occurs, interest is earned on interest more often. So, compound interest on interest. Compounding means more interest on interest. So, if 100 rupees is compounded annually in 3 years, it will amount to 133.1. But if the same amount, without any change in amount of investment, if the amount is compounded half yearly, it will amount to 134.01 during the same period. So, more compounding gives you more interest. Now when we come to classification of interest rate, nominal rate is also called the quoted rate or stated rate, and annual rate that ignores compounding effects. It is stated in contracts. For example, in FD you will see your FD is giving 8% rate. Periodic rate is the amount of interest charged every period, monthly or quarterly. So since most of the fixed deposit that we talk about in our banks, they give quarterly compounding. So if an 8% quarterly FD is there, then periodic rate, which is denominated here as I per, would be is equal to I nominal minus divided by M, where M is the number of compounding periods per year. For quarterly, M would be 4, for monthly it will be 12, for half yearly it will be 2, for daily it will be 365. But while working in Excel, you don't have to worry, simply divide the rate by M and multiply this. Effective annual rate is the annual rate of interest actually being earned taken into account compounding. The formula is 1 plus I nominal divided by M to the power M minus 1. So if 10% is compounded semi-annually, then the effective rate in the hands of investor would be 10.25%. And an investor would be indifferent between an investment offering a 10.25% annual return or offering 10% annual return compounded semi-annually, because at the end of the day, as an investor, I am concerned with what I am getting in my hand. An investment with monthly payments is different from one with quarterly payments. Must put each rate on effective percent base to compare rates of return, and this is very important. So 10% per annum would mean 10%, 10% quarterly would mean 10.38%, 10% monthly means 10.47%, 10% daily compounding means 10.52%. Let us have a look at this in the Excel sheet. Now we want to find 10%. Let's write it 4 times 10%. Okay, this is M, or we say N. Okay, rate is, if in annual the compounding frequency will be 1, in quarterly it will be 4. Let's say what all is given in the presentation. Annual, quarterly, monthly and daily. Monthly would be 12 and daily would be 365. Now if we remember the formula, 1 plus I nominal by M to the power M minus 1, here I norm in this case is this 10%, I norm. So effective annual rate, we call it effective annual rate, as per the given formula would be 1 plus R by M, bracket close, to the power, shift and 6, M minus 1. Okay, so 10% compounded annually, 10% compounded annually is 10%, and then just we drag the formula and increase the number of decimal places. We are able to find out 10% compounded annually is 10%, 10% compounded quarterly is 10.38%, 10% compounded monthly is 10.47%, and 10% compounded daily is 10.52%. Okay, so let's move further. So this is about the rate. When working in Excel, you don't have to worry about the effective rate. If you divide the rate by frequency of compounding and you multiply NPR into frequency of compounding, the effective annual rate would be taken into consideration while calculation. Can the effective rate be equal to nominal rate? Yes. If annual compounding is used, M is 1. We have already seen that. In this case, when annual compounding is used, effective rate and nominal rate both are equal. Nominal rate is written in contracts quoted by banks and brokers, not used in calculation or not shown on timelines. Periodic rate is used in calculations and shown on timelines. Calculation means I nominal by R we are already using. Expected annual rate, effective annual rate is used to compare return on investment with different payments per year used in calculation when annuity payments don't match compounding period. Then we come to PMT function. PMT function is a function which is used to calculate equal monthly installments or equal installments, not monthly, I'll say rather. It could be yearly also, it could be half yearly also, it could be. So, or reversely monthly savings required to build the corpus. So, then we come to loan amortization. Amortization tables are widely used for home mortgages, auto loans, business loans, retirement plans, etc. Financial calculator and spreadsheet are great for setting up amortization table. Let's take an example. Construct an amortization schedule for rupees 1000 10% annual rate loan with 3 equal payments. So let us look at this example. Here, in this case, let's work on another sheet. What is the first thing that we do in a sheet? We format it. Control and 1 is the shortcut for formatting. And we go to numbers, we go to this third formatting. Okay. Here in this case, now the thing is loan amount. Loan amount is 1000. Rate is 10%, and period, which comes as NPER, is 3 years. It's an yearly loan. So EMI, which we calculate with PMT, would be, we'll have to use the formula of PMT. Rate is 10%, number of periods is 3, PV is positive, future value is 0, and type is, in loan specifically, type is always 0. So 402.11. So the amount of loan is 402.115. Okay. The amount of EMI is 402.115 and it is a negative because you need to pay it. Now, if we have to divide, if we have to make an amortization schedule for this particular case, what is an amortization schedule? An amortization schedule is the chart of payments where the EMI is bifurcated into interest and principal. So when we say, let's make 4 columns, EMI, interest, principal, and the final column is balance. And the initial balance of the loan would be the loan amount. Okay. Just have a look, and you can put one more column for serial number. Would not look that important in this particular case because there are only 3 EMIs, but in general loans have 180, 240, 360, these kind of EMIs. Now EMI, we want EMI in positive. Okay. So we'll write minus on this amount. Now the thing is, we want same EMI to be copied in all the 3 cells when we drag the cursor down. To fix the EMI, what we need to do is to fix cell. Like Excel takes relative referencing. For example, I have taken D4 in this. If I drag this, when this cross becomes black, you just hold it and drag it down. It will automatically take D5. Okay, Excel doesn't take the same value everywhere. Okay, if I taken this reference and I'll put it down, Excel will take the value as D5 minus D5. Okay, so I want D4 to be copied, and the one way of doing it is putting a dollar sign in front of row and column. A shortcut is F4. Okay. After selecting the cell, you can put F4, that fixes the source cell. In some of the computer where F4 works along with function key, so the shortcut becomes function F4. Okay. After doing this, I'll just drag it down. A shortcut for drag when there is a value in the adjacent column is you take this to the right hand corner, right hand bottom corner. When the cross becomes small and black, just double click it. Interest, now just have a look very carefully. Interest would be this whole principal into rate of interest, and since the rate of interest is going to be same, I am going to fix this too by pressing F4. Principal would be EMI minus interest. Balance would be original loan minus principal repaid in this particular loan. After doing this, select these three cells, keep a cursor there and drag it down. You can see the final amount in the right hand corner is 0. This is a sign of a correct amortization schedule. So loan amount was 10,000 rupees, the rate of interest was 10%, NPR is 3, EMI comes as 402.11. We divided the EMI into interest and principal. The first EMI would be 100 rupees, 402.11 is out of which 100 rupees will be interest and 302 would be principal. So as you can see that in this particular loan, in the initial EMIs, the interest is higher and principal is lower, interest is increasing and interest is decreasing in each EMI, and principal is increasing in each EMI. Okay. So this is what an amortization schedule looks like. Okay. This is what it is, 302.11, and you can see where does the money go. Now I think we are in a position to solve Bala's problem. Bala's problem was the first problem that we saw during the day. Bala borrowed 1 crore housing loan from ICICI Bank in March 2006 for a designer flat located at Pravat Heavy, Mumbai at 8% floating rate of interest. The loan tenure was for 20 years. The interest rate suddenly rose to 12% within a span of 8 months. Bala could pay a maximum of rupees 97,000 per month as EMI. Okay. So in this case, what we have to find out, it was not the original EMI that Bala was paying. It continued for 8 months. Okay. After that, the loan readjusted. So let us one step at a time. First, we will have to find the EMI that we are paying. Then we will have to make an amortization chart for 8 months so that we can get balance after 8 months for the new loan. Okay. So if we look at it going down, let's use the copy paste. Loan amount in this case would be 1 crore. Rate is 8%, initial rate. Number of periods is 240 months. So the EMI comes as PMT. You can use the formulas. 8% by 12. Now in this case it is monthly. NPR is 240. PV is this. Future value is 0 and type is 0. Loan mein type is always 0. 83,644 is the EMI. Now what we need to do is we need to an amortization schedule for eight months. These 5 columns will always be there in an amortization schedule. Serial number, EMI, interest, principal, balance. So that's make an amortization schedule. Serial number, this will be an 8-month amortization schedule, so we will drag this down. Fill it. And if you want, for the purpose of display, serial number with decimal looks a little strange, so you can reduce the decimal. EMI, again we want all EMIs in positive and we want to fix this cell, so it will be I'm sorry, we'll have to leave one row blank for initial balance. Initial balance is equal to the original loan amount. Okay. Now EMI comes down as is equal to minus this amount and F4, and then we drag it down. Interest would be original balance into rate of interest. We'll fix it down, then divide it by 12 because it's a monthly loan. Principal would be this minus EMI minus interest would be principal, and balance minus principal repaid in this particular installment is this, and selecting all these three, just do a double click. At the end of 8 months you can see this is the amount is still to be repaid. Okay. So now generally what bank does is, if it is possible, bank reduces or increases the number of EMIs, but since this is a huge difference of 4%, we'll see that is possible or not. Now this guy Bala is saying I was paying 83,644, which was perfectly okay with me, but even if you want to increase the EMIs, I can pay maximum 97,000 rupees. So the new EMI gets fixed at 97,000 rupees. New EMI is 97,000 rupees. New loan amount is in front of you. We have to find out how long will it take to repay the loan. In the question, in the problem, how long will it take to repay the loan? We'll have to use the formula of NPER. Okay. So new loan period would be FX NPER. Okay. Rate is, new rate is 12%. So 12% by 12. PMT is 97,000 minus 97,000. PV is the remaining loan amount. Future value is 0 and type is 0. After doing this, you will find a question like none, and you will feel that you have done some mistake. No, you have not done any mistake. I have not done any mistake. The answer cannot be found. Can you guess why? Observe this very carefully. Loan amount is 98,60,000. Rate of interest is 12%, which is monthly rate is given as 1%. What will be 1% of this amount? This 1% of this amount is 98,609. And by paying just 97,000, the client Bala is not paying even interest. If he is not paying only interest also, how will he ever reach the principal? So at 97,000 rupees, this loan is not repayable. This is a debt trap. Now what is a debt trap? A debt trap is a situation where your interest payment is more than your repaying capacity. It is very clearly visible in this case because there is one loan, he is paying only 97,000 and interest is 98,609. So he needs to pay at least 19,609. Then loan will be paid at some time. Now, in real life scenario, there are many other loans, like somebody has a credit card also, somebody has personal loan also, somebody has maybe I will say car loan also, house loan also. So if the repayment capacity is lesser than the interest outgoing, then the person will always be in trouble. And as financial planner, this is also one point of this. Now let us look if this was not the case. If he was agreeing to keep the original tenure same, and he just wants to know what will be the new EMI. Let's calculate. New EMI for the remaining period of the loan, PMT. Rate is 12% by 12, NPR. 8 months have elapsed out of 240, so 232 remain. PV is this. Future value is 0 and type is 0. 1,09,494. This is the EMI he needs to pay if he wants to pay the loan in the original term. Next, in the next installment.